Hi, sorry I got a rant for a second, but I saw this meme today and it made me angry. Misleading memes like this are reposted and go unchallenged so often that they become accepted by many as legitimate arguments. While I agree with the point that in America gun violence has become so commonplace that it no longer receives the media attention that it should, this meme tries to use Chicago's limited citywide gun restrictions and the city's high rate of gun deaths as an argument against any form of gun regulation, or even worse, to suggest that there is a correlation between these two things. This is an old, worn-out talking point that needs to end. Simply stated, cities do not have borders. You can easily buy guns in one city or state and then drive them to another. Again, if it is cheap and easy to obtain large quantities of guns or ammunition anywhere in our country, then it is easy to transport them to everywhere in our country. Then why, you may ask, even have city or state gun laws? Well, citywide gun laws do make obtaining a gun slightly more difficult than simply walking to the corner gun store or pawn shop. And they also allow for harsher punishments against those convicted of committing a crime with a gun. But remember, only national gun restrictions can be effective in truly making it more difficult and more expensive to obtain these weapons in the first place. Holding up murder rates of cities with citywide gun laws and claiming they prove that national gun restrictions would not be effective is a talking point that only works on people who either lack the ability or the desire to think critically about this complicated issue. The fact is that national gun restrictions have been extremely effective in other countries around the world. One of the main reasons they have not been implemented here is, you guessed it, the NRA. The NRA has successfully fought against any laws that would make it more difficult for anyone, including criminals or the mentally ill, to get their hands on powerful weapons designed for warfare. They oppose even common sense gun restrictions that are supported by a majority of their own members. The NRA's talking points and hardline policy positions only make sense when you realize that they are not actually an organization focused on representing gun owners and sportsmen, as they say. They are primarily a lobby for the gun and ammunition manufacturing industry. Their main objective is to increase the sales and profits of the companies they represent. When I see Chicago, I see an argument for national solutions to our national problems. While gun laws do not make it impossible for criminals to get powerful weapons in countries like Japan, Australia, or the UK, they do, however, make getting those weapons much more difficult and much more expensive. Because of that, gun homicide and suicide rates are much lower in these countries than in the United States. In other words, these gun restrictions save lives. It is time for us as Americans to finally put the lives of our fellow citizens above the profits of America's gun and ammunition manufacturers. It's time for a meaningful debate, not more misleading memes.